Hi, welcome to today's gentle flow. For today's practice, you're just going to want a block or a thick sturdy book. Shoebox works just fine. And we're going to get started in a child's pose. So bring your knees to the mat. Toes can touch behind you, hips towards your heels. Now know if this ever doesn't feel comfortable, because it doesn't feel great in all bodies, you're welcome to take a seated butterfly, soles of the feet together, knees out to either side. Goal here is opening the hips, softening the upper body. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. Teton is settling in as well. One more inhale. And then keeping your base as is, walk your hands in towards your body, mini camel. Hands come behind your heels, then hips press up towards the sky. Give yourself a breath here, slight engagement in the glutes. Next breath, hips lower back down. Walk your hands forward to a tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Can start here, maybe shifting the hips side to side. As you're ready, you can add in some cat-cows. Inhales to drop your belly, lift your tailbone and look up. Exhales to round the spine and press away from the mat. Give yourself a few rounds of breath, any movement that feels good for you. Reminding ourselves with these gentle flows can allow yourself to move nice and slow, even slower than how I'm guiding us if that feels good for you. Pause in neutral when you're ready. Inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky. Exhale, bring right arm under left, thread the needle. Right ear or right shoulder can come towards the mat. Full breath here. Allow yourself a little time. Then as you're ready, right arm reaches up towards the sky once more. Then back down to the mat. Other side, inhale, sweep left leg to the sky. Exhale, bring left arm under right. Thread the needle on this side, left ear or left shoulder towards the mat. Finding some space behind that left scapula. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. Next, inhale, return to center, left arm towards the sky. Exhale that left hand down to the mat. Now stretching out your calf, right leg extends long, toes stay on the mat. Just give yourself a few rocks back and forth. Some bodies feel better staying stagnant, pressing that heel away from you, giving yourself a few moments there. Just find what works for you. And use your next round of breath or two to switch out legs. So right knee back to the mat, left leg extends long. Again, movement can feel good. So can staying still. So check it out on either side. Pause where you need to. Then left knee comes back to the mat. Walk your hands forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes, lift your hips for downward facing dog. Pressing into both hands equally here. Long spine as hips reach up towards the sky. You might start with a really generous bend in your knees. Staying there or beginning to straighten the legs just until you find your edge. Keeping that spine long. And take your time here. Handprint by handprint, walk your hands towards the back of the mat. We'll meet at a forward fold, Uttanasana at the back of the mat. Eventually heels dropping to the floor, head hangs heavy. You might do opposite hand to opposite elbow here, some sway action. Or bending the knees even more, hands can come behind the knees. Whatever feels better in your low back, or even that neck. Sometimes my neck's a little hard to release, so you might do some shakes here, yes or no. Being gentle and kind with yourself here. Hands come to the mat. Slowly begin to extend right leg towards the sky. Thinking a standing splits here, but your toes might stay close to the mat, finding the height that feels good for you. When you're ready, begin to walk those hands forward into a three-legged down dog. Bending the knee here, scorpion dog. Hip opens towards the right. Then give yourself a few knee circles here, giving a big circle in one direction and then the other. Pause as you extend right leg long once more. Then right foot outside of left for lizard, really getting into the hips to start. Maybe you find a little bounce here, hips towards the mat. Maybe that is not available in your body, and that's totally fine. Another breath. Then as you're ready, shift back to down dog, both toes on the mat. I should say both sets of toes. Walk your hands back once more. Taking your time, eventually finding that Uttanasana forward fold. Give yourself a few moments here. Heavy upper body, maybe sway side to side. Maybe bend the knees a little bit more. Being gentle and kind with yourself. Hands plant, left leg lifts. Standing splits, again, finding your edge. Noticing if those left toes want to fling out to the side, pointing them down towards the mat. And when you're ready, those hands walk forward, three-legged dog. Bending your knees, scorpion dog, hip opens towards the left. Start your knee circles from here. Few rounds going one direction and then switch. Pressing into both hands equally. Extend left leg long. Left foot outside of left hand, lizard pose. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. Maybe finding a little movement here, hips towards the floor and back up, a little bounce, or stillness. Next breath, left foot steps back for downward facing dog. Generous bend to the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, find a half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, root through your feet, reach up tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. Hands pulling or heart pulling towards your hands. Elbows press away from each other. So long spine, still finding an active shape in this mountain pose. Inhale, extend all the way up, maybe coming to your tippy toes, tallest you can be. Exhale, heels to the mat, hinge forward, forward fold. Extra round of breath here. Inhale, half lift, hands come to your thighs, elbows squeeze into your side body. Full round of breath here. Next breath, hands to the mat. Plant your hands and step back to a plank position. Inhale and plank on toes or knees, press away from the mat. Use your entire exhale Lower all the way down. Elbows graze the ribs. Untuck your toes. And take your feet wide in cobra. This feels good in most bodies. But if your feet feel better a little closer together, you can leave them right there. Inhale, lift for baby cobra. Just your heart barely off the mat. Exhale, lower back down. Twice more. Inhale, lift baby cobra. Maybe hands come to hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep hands planted. Inhale, lift to your expression of cobra, not forcing ourselves to crank all the way up. Finding some softness in those elbows. Lengthen the sides of the neck, so that might mean shoulders drop away from your ears. Elbows stay hugged into the side body. One more breath. And lower back down as you're ready. Inhale, press up to your plank, toes or knees. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Give yourself a full round of breath here, finding the down dog shape that feels best for you. Entire inhale, sweep right leg to the sky. Exhale, step right foot between your hands, warrior two. Back foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, arms at shoulder height. Now take a moment here. Start with heel to heel alignment. So if I draw a straight line, front heel touches, or the line from your front heel touches the back heel. That can feel better if your hips are a little tight, or you may more typically heel to arch alignment, stepping your heel back if that feels okay in the hips. Taking your time here. Inhale, right palm flips up, reach forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior, right arm overhead. Inhale, extended side angle, left arm overhead. Exhale, back to warrior two. Give yourself a breath here, soft gaze over the front fingertips. Inhale, straighten your front leg, turn your toes to long edge of the mat. Heels pull in, sink down for goddess. Give a little movement here. Hands can come to heart. They can hang out here like whatever I had happening. Or arms out at shoulder height if you want to build some shoulder strength. But find a little movement, shifting side to side. Here for another round of breath. When you're ready, pausing in center. Inhale, lift, straighten your legs, toes point towards the long edge of the mat. Wide leg forward fold. Give yourself a full round of breath here, allowing that whole upper body to hang heavy. When you're ready, turn your toes, walk your hands back to the top of the mat, low lunge. Step back to downward facing dog. Full round of breath in down dog. Other side, inhale, sweep left leg to the sky. Meeting in warrior two. Again, give yourself a moment here. Adjust your back foot as you need to, finding that alignment that feels good, heel to heel or heel to arch. You might notice a lot of difference in your hips. You might not notice a ton. Goal here is pressing into the blade edge of that back foot, blade edge of the front foot to help that front knee track open. Inhale, left palm flips up, reach forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale, extended side angle, right arm comes overhead. Exhale, back to your warrior two. Inhale, straighten your front leg, turn your toes to long edge of the mat. Heels pull in, sink down to goddess. Again, hands wherever feels comfortable. Shifting your hips here side to side. If you'd like a little more openness in the upper body, cactus arms squeezing those shoulder blades can feel good. You can build strength at a T, or keep your hands at heart center, nice grounding shape. Pausing next time you come back to center. Inhale, straighten both legs, toes point to long edge of the mat. Hinge forward, wide leg forward fold. Head hangs heavy. Breathe here. As you're ready, turn your toes, walk your hands back to the top of the mat, low lunge. Step back to downward facing dog. Give yourself a full round of breath in down dog. Inhale, sweep right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands, warrior two. Arms at shoulder height. Taking a moment here, we're gonna prepare for what's called an infinity sequence. So we're gonna be using the front and the back of the mat. I like my block at its highest setting, one at the front of the mat, one at the back of the mat. Be using those for half moon here. And typically I switch sides with you guys so that I'm always facing you. This time I'll do it all one side, so without shifting my orientation, if that makes sense. Arms at shoulder height. Inhale here from warrior two. Exhale, press into your front foot. Find half moon. Back toes flex. Left arm reaches towards the sky. Next breath, bend into your front knee. Find warrior two. Straighten your front leg, then sink to either side lunge or skandasana towards the back of the mat. Give yourself a moment here. Maybe right arm opens to the sky, a little openness in the chest. Next breath, right hand back to the mat. Lift into crescent, facing the back of your mat. Back heel presses away from you. Inhale. Exhale, open to warrior two towards the back of your mat. Give yourself a moment here, set up first. Then as you're ready, shift your weight towards that block, finding half moon on this side. Toes are flexed. Right arm reaches towards the sky. Bend into your front knee. Return to warrior two. Shift your weight back. Skandasana or side lunge. Maybe left arm opens to the sky. Give yourself a moment. Left hand back to the mat. Crescent lunge towards the top of the mat. Inhale, open to warrior two. Exhale, shift forward, half moon. Taking your time, again, maybe you're working at a slightly slower pace. Maybe you're matching me. Maybe you're flowing like crazy, going a little faster than I am. Whatever feels good. Next breath, bend into your front knee, warrior two. Bend into your back knee, skandasana or side lunge. Right arm can open to the sky. Next breath, right hand back to the mat. Pivot to crescent at the back of your mat. Arms frame the face. Open to warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale, find half moon. Now the blocks can be totally optional. You can always just reach your fingertips towards the floor or use it as part of your base. Next breath, bend into your front knee. Then shift your weight, bend into your back knee, skandasana. Left arm opens to the sky. Give yourself a moment. Return that hand to the mat. Crescent towards the top of your mat. Flow through one more round at your pace. Arms at shoulder height for warrior two. Weight shifts forward. Half moon with or without the block. Bend into your front knee, warrior two. Bend into your back knee, skandasana. Right arm can open or stay towards the mat. Right hand comes back down. Crescent to the back of the mat. Open up to warrior two. Shift your weight, half moon, block or fingertips reaching. Playing around here for a moment. Bend into your front knee, warrior two. Into your back knee, skandasana. Maybe that left arm opens. Left hand comes back down. Ending it crescent towards the top of your mat. Give yourself a full inhale here. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, lowering all the way down. Untuck your toes, shifting props out of the way. Inhale, lift your heart for Sphinx. So again, kind of similar to that cobra. Can I soften the shoulders here? Lengthen the sides of the neck. Eyes can be soft or closed. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. Next breath, lower back down, forehead towards the back of the hands, resting here for a moment. Then play here with bending one heel towards your glute. Extend that leg long, and then the other heel comes towards the glute. Give yourself a few rounds here of those almost like synchronized swimming kicks. Or both legs can stay extended long if that feels best. Even out on either side. And pause next time both feet are on the floor. Then shift yourself back to a child's pose. Knees as wide or as narrow as feels good for you. Arms can inch forward just a bit. As you're ready, lift your upper body out of the shape. Taking your legs in front of you here. Extend both legs long for staff pose. Inhale, slight squeeze in the shoulder blades. Hinge forward and fold forward when you're ready. Now you know I like two versions here. You can keep your legs as they are, or bring a little bend to your knees, opposite hand to opposite elbow under the knees. Whichever version feels better in your low back or helps you to soften into the shape a little bit more. That's the right version, or the version that works for you today. So take your time. Set up how feels best for you. Slight tuck of the chin towards the chest. Breathe here. On an inhale, lift your upper body out of the shape. Then soles of the feet come to the mat, bringing one of your blocks along with you. Lower down to your back body. Soles of the feet press into the mat. Inhale, lift your hips just high enough to slide that block under your sacrum. And settle into the bridge pose that feels good for you. Bridge is one of those shapes that feels and looks different in every body. Really, all poses are like that, but bridge, you can see it a little more pronounced. So if it feels good to walk your heels away from you, lengthening your legs, go for it. You might feel better with your soles of the feet on the mat. Hands can rest on your belly, down on the floor, or overhead. So give yourself a little time. Test it out, explore, and find what feels good for you. And give yourself a few rounds of breath there. Using your next breath to walk your feet in or bring your hands back towards the floor if you've taken another shape. When you're ready, lift your hips just high enough to release that block, lowering back down. Knees hug into your chest for just a moment. And then find happy baby. Hands can come to the outer edges of the feet, the heels, or anywhere along the shins. You might add in some movement, gentle sway side to side, or allow your body to hang in stillness. Not concerning ourselves as much with how far our hands can reach, but finding the shape that helps us to encourage knees towards the floor. Opening the hips. Breathe here. One more full round of breath. When you're ready, knees hug into your chest. Give yourself a little yogi hug, forehead up towards the knees. Then extend into Shavasana. Legs extend long. Arms hang heavy. Allowing yourself to soften into the shape. And I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Body can remain still. If it feels good and is available to you today, you are more than welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, start deepening your inhales and exhales. Add in the gentle movement that feels good to wake up your body. You might wiggle fingers and toes or rock your head side to side. And then when you're ready, make your way to a fetal position on either side, pausing there for just a moment before you press up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes can stay soft or closed. Allowing yourself a moment here to feel into some gratitude. You showed up today, honored your body with movement and with rest, and allowing that importance to sink in. We'll close with a collective breath. Can inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands back to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Oh, buddy.